Okay, so while there is a little breathing room, I'm going to answer some of the questions asked on the Ask Shreyas B hashtag, which Ravi has been so kind to float. So let's just start from the top. Suresh asks how to learn strangle adjustments when we are already having a position. How do you manage stress after having a loss? So before taking a position, you should have a good idea in terms of how to manage it. Otherwise, I hope you're not taking positions without knowing that. Strangle is one of the most basic option strategy. In fact, the most basic option strategy probably, and it basically pays off as long as there isn't too big a move in the market. Now, instead of looking at a strategy as okay, a strangle means you sell a put and you sell a call, which are out of the money. Look at it more in terms of what the payoff is. Look at where do you benefit, where do you lose in the process of heading to expiry. So you might do it in the monthly, you might do it across months. Some people even do it in weekly. Some people can do it intraday, like I do a lot of the time. So how do you adjust it in case there is a very strong trend? Now it depends on what your view is. Are you convinced by the trend? If you're convinced by the trend, do you want to take risk away where you're against the trend, or increase risk when you're along with the trend? Like for example, in an uptrending market, if you have a strangle and your call starts bleeding, if you want to reduce your risk in direction of the trend, then you will move away your call. And by how much and at what pricing, that you need to see based on what is the risk on the put side. Now you don't want an immediate reversal to then start wrecking you on the put. So how do you know which point to adjust? You do it many times, and that will let you know at which point you adjust. It also depends on how your view changes. How do you manage stress after having a loss? Look, making a loss is very much part of being in the market. Market is not some fantasy place where you will find something that will always give you profits. So you have to just deal with it. Yes, it is. It can be stressful at times, especially when it's a relatively large loss, and you should never see the way you define your risk reward. You should never lose more than what makes sense with your definition of risk reward. On expiry day, instead of starting with strangle, can we start with inverted strangle for same range? Yes, it makes no difference. There's no difference between a strangle and inverted strangle. They're exactly the same. If there is any difference, you buy one, sell the other, you make arbitrage. Advantages and disadvantages of inverted strangle to normal? Absolutely none. Like it's the same thing. For example, if you on an expiry day, if you take a regular strangle of let's say 50 points up, 50 points down, just hypothetically, and you do an inverted strangle, the net credit received will be exactly the same. The payoff will be the same. Won't be any difference. Can you do a video on positional trades? Yes, I will. So I had to do some account switching, transfer everything from one account to the other account. So I exited all my positional trades. Right now I do not have any on, and I need to wait for something to appear very lucrative for me to enter that trade. Right now stock options IVs are relatively low. So how do you buy FAR OTM options? If you sell the options first and then buy OTM, what is the use of margin benefit? Yes. So to buy FAR OTM options, especially in Zerodha, at times you have to sell first and then you can buy. When you sell, you require full margin. But when you buy, the margin cuts down. So you do get margin benefit, but after you buy.
Want to meet like-minded traders and discuss option strategies, adjustments and more? Just type in Discuss Nifty in your Telegram search box and join the friendly trader community.
What do you think is a better strategy in current scenario for trading Nifty Bank Nifty? Short straddle or long puts with hedge? So these are two completely different strategies. Short straddles are good, but just don't do it in, like if you're doing it positionally, don't do weekly short straddles, you'll get messed up. Do monthly short straddles. That might work out better. Because weekly short straddle, you just get screwed by the kind of volatility that we're seeing lately. I would say go monthly. Even like people doing iron condors and calendar spreads, do it in the monthly. It'll make so much more sense. Weekly is just a really bad risk reward proposition at this point. Anyone who's like telling you to do weekly positional trades is right now not giving the best advice. Long put with hedge. Look, you want to go long options, the criteria has to be momentum. How do you define momentum? It depends. You can have certain crossovers, you can look at very short time frames, you can look at multiple supports being broken. At that point, you can, my way of buying options is I'm in and out of the trade usually in under 5 minutes. If I'm sitting on a bought option position, my trade life is about 5 minutes. Okay, next question by Setu Suresh. Maximum how many points can erode as DK in a single intraday? It's around 20 to 30 points. Why don't you exit even though you got that / wait till the end of the day? So, good question. And basically, my answer to that is if you run the model of what I do, if you're able to model it and run it maybe 500 times or 1,000 times, you'll find that it makes more sense to trail to the end of the day and exit with a stop loss by obviously trying to lock in. You don't want to give up 20 points after you've made 20 points. It will work out better than just exiting, or depends on how you generally define your risk reward. Look, if you want to exit at like a 1% return every day and you exit at a stop loss of 0.5% and you do that consistently, that will work out really, really well for you. I work with generally a higher risk reward. So if I'm targeting 5%, I don't mind putting 2.5% on the table. If I'm on that day targeting 6%, I don't mind putting 3% on the table. So it depends. So my way is just I follow this process that staying till the end, especially the last half an hour, can give you very, very good reward. Market meme says, why don't you use English in your videos? So I don't use English because I don't speak Hindi. And if it was a part of my regular lingo, I would. But yeah, that's more or less that. Yes, Seshu asks, why do you go with strangles always? Why not one-side trades where you need small adjustments? I think I use strangles mostly because I am very comfortable in managing strangles. I find this is more of a personal thing. There's no like one way of doing it. But for me personally, I'm far more comfortable managing strangles than like taking a naked directional trade, maybe selling naked puts or selling naked calls and or buying. So this is specifically for intraday. I will always prefer strangles. It's more of a personal thing. Have you backtested your strategy before deploying? If so, what is the win-loss rate and profit factor? And what data have you used for backtesting, since options intraday data is hard to get? Yes, very true. Options intraday data is very hard to get. And no, I've not like backtested this in the form of traditional backtest, but I have used this strategy on a long enough timeline for a little over 2 years, this specific way of trading, to know how the results vary over a period of time.
Thank you for watching. Please post any questions you have in the comment section. Also, do not forget to like and share the video and subscribe to the channel. To find us on Twitter, Telegram and Facebook, use the username NiftyBN. Also, we post some of our trades to the community tab. So do not forget to check that from time to time.